And we are going to be good to go with the first map then. Seems like that everybody's getting ready in here, and looking at the civilization so far, for Keens, or rather Keens, for the scraps we are having Keen Magic as set, Vlada's skill is Oranos, and the last one, Lachelti, is playing as Loki, so basically with their mains you could be saying. You could be also saying that Magic's main is Isis, but playing with set is not really all that different, and looking at the other team, at the posse, Hagrid is Zeus, Gully, Odin, and Larizal. Quite different gods in here, and we would be definitely favoring the scrubs to win, but let's see if the opponents can actually stand for some pretty good fight, and we might be seeing a very interesting game for the last one of today's round of 16 streaming. Well, here we go with the vision from Magic, as he's trying to find all the fishies as fast as possible, definitely viable in here, so that he knows where to place the rock in some kind of advantageous position, and it's going to be a bit more to the south, I think, about here. That's going to be a pretty good spot for him. As at the top, he doesn't have all that many fishes, just the threesome, 2 threesomes, but still, yep, it's not all that bad. I would maybe have built it a bit more to the south, but he's probably not wanting to infringe on the allies' fishes, and he will be quite happy to have them have a bit of fishes themselves. So, better siege weapon costs, not bad, especially for the Egyptian. That could be quite useful for Magic later into the game, and overall, yeah, well, it's probably not all that lucky to have Magic at the very back, because it will mean that Shelty and Askill will be a bit more in the forefront for some kind of aggression, but at the same time they are pretty much experts exactly like Magic, so it's not like the Posse can actually choose something that would be better for them. It's probably not going to matter all that much. But otherwise, yeah, I think Magic at the back is probably going to mean for the Posse that they might be facing his force a bit later than otherwise. But still, looking how Shelty is going to be in the forefront, the first one to actually face his opponent Gully at the bottom in here, they might be seeing a very interesting fight, and I'm definitely hoping that it's not going to be any kind of short game. Not bad spawn for Larizal in the middle, because if he can potentially get not only those boars and the relic, which is for cheaper or rather faster mid-unit attack time, he could be potentially gathering the TC like this one, which would definitely help him, and he could supply some very valuable mercenaries into the middle battlefield, which will be pretty much crucial. And I'm thinking that the same could be true for Magic, so I'm not really surprised, wouldn't be really surprised if he went somewhere in the middle and tried to capture a TC like this. Better hero speed. That's actually a very nice relic. One relic at the back is better for 20% built-in pierce attack. Also not bad at all. And looking at the TC placement overall, we see 2 at the back, 1 in the range of the water, whereas we see 1 in the range of the water for the opponents as well. So that's pretty equal for them, as you can see Magic right now scouting with the board and potentially even trying to find the rocks of his opponents. And quite interestingly, we don't really see either Gully or Larizal going for the water, so it's basically just Hagrid, and that basically means that he shouldn't be fighting for it at all, and he'll be quite probably just building as many fishing boats as he can in the archaic age, gather as much as he can, and then have these opponents overcome it and basically spend a whole lot more resources than they need to. And that should also result in some pretty heavy aggression from Gully together with Larizal on land. Oh, Larizal. Azara, probably not. Classic fighting rat, that would be something new. Wouldn't be really a good idea from him, as we are also seeing. Oh, yeah, you don't really need to do this, but he was definitely wanting to make sure that his opponent is not going to be scouting him all that easily. But of course, right now he will, but he is attempting to go back right now, not interested in losing him. So far though, he's scouting all around, trying to find exactly what their opponents are doing. With the temple being dropped right now by Schulte, so it's looking that they might be having pretty decent advances, like 430, basically the standard for him, as he really is having a bit of extra economy for the water in here, but not really all that much, so I'm not even sure if he's gonna go for a second dockabout here for a bit more efficiency on this second fishing boat placement. Well, Blue is right now seen has scouted pretty much all the shoreline, so he knows that only Hagrid is going to be having a few boaties. That's pretty much it. So they should be really right now recognizing the scraps, that the fight is going to be fought mainly on land, and the water is going to be just a bonus for the economy. A lot of gold in the corner, right next to the TC, that is basically the front of either Gully or Shelty. Yeah, they can basically choose which teams this TC is, but it's going to be very important for the game overall, as not only does it cover this kind of ways through into the opponent's bases, it's much more important right about now for the bottom team, as of course there is a wide open expanse in here. It's also kind of capturing a lot of tree lines and interesting gold mines. Yep, so if you capture this gold, you are in a pretty good way, to somehow try and control the gold mines. Otherwise though, a lot of gold in the bag, so not really any kind of problems. So 15 cents and VD rush. And he needs to hurry, because there's 30% for the city. Right now trying to prevent anything, and oh, well, it seems like the Chelsea is actually playing this quite correctly. They are not going to be stopping the city, unfortunately for them. That's definitely unlucky. We have seen it last time around in the last match, and well, yeah, city is up, so they weren't fast enough, but they probably didn't expect that all that much, because we are at almost 5 minutes, so even the attack itself wasn't really all that strong. So unfortunately, this is kinda unlucky, because the Athena and Heimdall could be definitely used right about now. That Larizal kinda screwed it up. I don't really think that the rain was actually all that intended by him. It was just some kind of spur of the moment, I'm thinking. We have just healing spring. Anyway, maybe thinking that Shockwave could be used against him, but probably not all that much. But still, these are pretty much all the villagers for the purple player. We have probably seen a pretty short game in here, as they did go for it, but unfortunately it didn't work out, as unfortunately the attack wasn't strong enough. And you can see that Schultz is even having enough resources for his own towers. So that's pretty much it. Undermine now. It's still going down, so he should really repair. He shouldn't underestimate it. Right now he's going for it. It was really bad timing overall by the guys, so that was quite unlucky. They possibly might have even taken it down, especially with the restoration, because if they had that and basically made everything. Where was the high hunt? Not exactly sure. Probably be finding it somewhere else, and maybe it was cast somewhere around here. Really, not sure at all. But overall, to finish my thought in here, if they actually coordinated their attack, I think that they actually might have had a pretty good chance to take the DC down, but unfortunately the coordination wasn't there, and that means that right now Lutz together with Keen are going to be on a pretty good route to even victory right there. Even though there's probably going to be a bit more classical fighting to be had, as Hagrid is building right next to Gully. But with Larizal being completely dead, right, just now rebuilding with 2 villages. Yeah, literally 2 villages just bad now. It's probably not going to be all that useful in the game right now. Hagrid not really happy about his economy. But of course, since he is right now forced to berries, as he has lost the water quite inevitably against all 3 opponents from the other team, there wasn't anything that... Yeah, he cannot do anything because he doesn't have the water, and that was exactly what was noticed at the very start. So still a bit of classical fighting in here to be had between the Scrubs and the Posse. With of course the army right now getting bigger for Askil and Shelty, and it's almost looking like that actually Magic won't have to do a whole lot. He's going to be just kinda chilling in the back corner in there, sending a few animals here and there together with the budget, and that's pretty much going to be it, as there's not much I'm thinking right about now that Hagrid with Gully can do, because Hagrid is having his economy all over the place, even though he does have some small hunt at the back, some extra berries, and even a boar in here still ungathered, but without the food source that were the fishing boats in here, he definitely cannot make anything happen, since he was having basically a water build. Otherwise, you can see that Chilton and Askil are already on the opponent's bases, so even the tower is going to be quite nicely needed right now for Gully. And they are blowing his horn, and that's pretty much it for the left battlefield, as we are going to be seeing that Shelty is gonna try and basically kill the last villager that is attempting to build the archery range. Fortunately not finishing, just 92 hit points left to be built, but yeah, otherwise we are also seeing that Hagrid isn't even building any kind of military, because he probably really doesn't have any kind of food. He's just now running out of all the berries, going for farms at 8 minutes, which is quite soon for an Egyptian, or rather for a Greek. And we are also seeing that Askil going to be moving to the middle pocket onto Larizal to kill him yet again, together with Shelty. Yes, he is. He's in the mid, but he's also behind you, so kinda careful. They are actually talking to each other, both two teams. And Red seems to be all over the place right about now, going also for the second TC in there, and that seems to be pretty much it for the town centers. Nobody is interested in anything more. Really wanted to do it to Shelty. Well, not really sure what their evening plans are, but still, they are definitely getting the worst end of this deal. And they are getting punished. They are getting punished quite strongly. And right now Magic through 9 minutes 30. That's probably going to be some attempt to attack with both armies, and on top of that, the ancestors. Why we are not resigning? Yeah, well, they want to have some extra fun in here. There's absolutely no question how this is gonna end. You can see Siegeworks right now being dropped by Magic in the middle, with the TC being captured, and well, there we are. We see a bit of shockwave as Red is trying to have a bit of fun with those villagers, and he's definitely gonna punish them as well, especially with extra reinforcements from him coming into the middle. He's probably gonna aim for either middle or downright Hagrid, as these villagers are just now going to be escaping into a bit of safety, as the Ox card unfortunately isn't going to be able to do anything like that. And Gully so far is having at least a pretty decent army, doing a pretty good job against basically 2.5 opponents. As Magic is not fully in here, but he has at least a few units, and Shelty is going for, yep, better boots of kick. Sorry, boots of kick, everything to better his heroes. And since these Solokins, of course, making perfect sense. So, temples, oh yeah, so that's going to be a Scorpion Man spam, or something like that. So something unusual from Magic, you don't really see in every game altogether. With all the TCs being captured at second and third for Magic. Whereas at the back we see also the third for Askiel, and Shelty so far is at 2, but seems to be quite content as the front TC is just being guarded by this dude, and he's probably going to be attempting to finish it when he has the resources, and once the one TC that is attempted to be stolen in the middle is going to be finished. Second TC right now captured by Hagrid. It seems like that the ThePossy are still not giving up, even though they are going to be surprised very soon, and well, fourth TC coming up for Shelty, and even a fifth. So he's investing all the resources into the extra TCs because he's not losing any kind of army, and he's also having a bit of help of all the animals from the set. So not any Scorpion Man, but simply animals. Going to be attack of the giraffes. As Askiel is through into Heroic Age, and towers being built, of course, all over the place in here in Gully's base, and let's see how he'll like the program on today's Animal Planet. Probably not much, as the beasts are right now turning into fun as well, but he's also having pretty decent amount of throwing axemen. And ancestors are coming up, and of course there's going to be proper counter to all those units and of course all those towers, and we should be seeing also safeguard. Well, better points for towers, of course, why not? As Hagrid is going for a bit of restoration at the back, as he's having an interesting fight with Shelty, who is just now going to be finishing or not. The hoplites are definitely against that idea. That's quite close, as the one at the bottom has unfortunately already been finished, as the dwarves that were getting gold for Gully in there have been quite nicely raided, and that's also the reason why he is right now resigning, and his teammates are going to be finishing with the resignations as well. Yeah, those obelisks just for the fun of it. Well, that was quite gutsy attempt at the very start by Larizel, but unfortunately it didn't really work out, so we're gonna see how in the game 2 it's gonna look. Yeah, it was definitely close. Now BO3. We're gonna have to play one more game and show us what's in you. That is exactly. Askiel playing the best. Yeah, he was the most important part of this game. Besides Larizel, of course.
Yes.
Well, military count 38, units killed 9, 22, 5. Yeah, that kinda tends to happen. Games like these.
Yes.
Okay then. GG.